this is how conditional stages work. Sometimes you might not need this because we actually have something called job statuses. So I'll talk about those in a second, but I'm going to hit save because I made a few changes, okay? And I'm going to go back to this view here. So let's say this client here really is on the in-prep section. Remember, you can drag and drop them, like even for testing purposes. It will ask you, do you want these actions to happen? I don't want them to happen because I'm just testing. So I'm just going to have it sit here for a bit. So let's imagine this, okay? If something, it doesn't matter which stage you're on, if something strange is going on, you're going to open the job, okay? And let me describe the job section here. The job is always clickable, okay? You can open the job here, or you can go to your job list here and you can open the jobs this way, okay? But I like to look at this view because I know exactly what stage they're on. So this job view on the left-hand side is the form that was initially filled out, okay? The form that was initially filled out here is going to have, you know, the items that we predetermined, like the client-facing status. It's going to have, you know, due dates. It's going to have some of these tags that were predetermined. So on the right-hand side, you're going to see any actions that are required from the client. Right now, there's not really any actions. I have added this client to previous jobs and you'll see the job listed here, but right now there's nothing pending for this client. But if there was something pending, you'll see it. Let's determine this. If this client is missing documents, they can go to the missing documents stage, which is perfect, or you can actually change the whole status of the job. So I can do something like missing docs. I can add this status called missing docs. So this status here just shows if it's an active job or it has some kind of blocker, right? So if I click on missing docs and I click on save and exit, notice that it does change color. This kind of shows like an outstanding job that has a special need, right? This job status can be highly tailored, okay? You don't have to use a predetermined stuff on here. You can create as many items on here as you want. Let's do extension. And by the way, you'll see throughout TaxDome that there are sections that will give you shortcuts to reminders. And if you don't know how to use certain items or need a reminder, click on them so you kind of get refreshed on how to use some of these features. If I want to give them an extension needed on here, great. I can actually add more actions under this status. So if, for example, I am missing docs, I want to add maybe a new task for my team. And that task is, you know, I don't know, a client request. I created this task, by the way, a client request. We'll talk about that shortly. If I create this task, this means that my team member must complete this task. They must go ahead and click on status and hit complete in order for this to become an active status again. And then we can go through the regular process that we need to go through. Okay, so I want to make sure that everybody understands the difference between a job status and maybe a stage called missing documents, because you can use either or. Notice now that it moved automatically to the next stage because that action that I said for my team member to send some sort of request, it moved to the next stage, right? So actions that you add, remember, actions that are needing completion from you or your client will trigger a move to the next stage. So job statuses, you can change the whole status of the job, or you can actually utilize some of these stages with stage conditions. Either way, they work fine. Usually that's up to you how you want to manage that. Both are ideal. You just need to talk with the team and say, hey team, should we use client facing statuses? I'm sorry. Should we use this instead of adding them to a stage? Then your team can say yes or no. Maybe I don't want that missing. I don't want that missing information stage, right? So these are just a varied options. I don't want to confuse anybody. If you want to use how the template is set up, this is perfect. The only thing I would change on here is that instead of sending a message to the client, I would add a task that tells my team to create a client request.